So, this is a program called XML File Finder. It was made by Scumbumbo, and it's what I've been using to make these venue posts. So I'm going to show you how it works, just so that you can understand what exactly I'm doing and how I'm finding this information and how I know the general idea of what it means and what it does. So what this does is you extract every single XML from The Sims 4, and it will let you search for everything in the game. Then you can click it, you can open it, you can see all the tuning it has. I can see that the spa venue has days that clubs can show up there, what times of day clubs can show up, how many clubs it tries to make show up, what it says when a club invites you to the lot, what items are required to build the lot, that sort of thing. But more importantly, I can right click on it and choose Browse References. All this stuff on the left is every single file in the game that mentions the spa venue, and all this stuff on the right is the things that the spa venue file I just had open mentions. All these things are referenced in that file, all these things reference that file. So for example, one of the spa details that I noted is that fizzy drinks don't spoil on spas. How the hell did I figure that out? Well, the fizzy drink object references spas. So let's open it up and see what the heck it references them for. So if I search, I can search for the Relaxation Center venue. Here it is. Now, because I know how to read the XMLs, I know what this means. This means that the state for the object added to it with this test is lock freshness. So when the fizzy drink is made on a relaxation center, it will add the state locked freshness, which means fizzy drinks do not decay on spas, which is a wildly specific detail that I never would have thought of. Over here, if I click on zone modifier, zone director, that's what determines what kind of sims can show up on a lot and when and how and why and all that sort of stuff. So if we click on that, we can see that the relaxation center zone director references all these things. These situations here are what determines what kind of sims show up. So sims that can show up at a spa are bartenders, sims on dates together from Lovestruck, massage therapists, a bunch of spa guests, reflexologists, and the yoga classes and the yoga instructor. So these are the interesting ones. Hello, Magic. Meow, meow, meow. This one, bull. Let's click on that and see what the heck that is. So inside that bull tuning, it references a job called Bull in the China Shop and some other miscellaneous stuff. But we're going to click on this one. This one says nothing really special. These are just like generic things for determining what kind of sims can do what. But the important one is this one, Filter Relaxation Center Bull Guest. This is going to tell me what kind of sims can be called to be whatever this guest is. So we'll click on that. And this is all sorts of stuff. Some of these are things that the game can't use. So like if a sim is Bonehilda, it won't call Bonehilda for this. It explicitly says, okay, I'm not going to call Bonehilda for this. But clumsy, insane, that's called erratic now. It's not called insane. And slob are the three that it will try to find to fill this job. So if the game says, okay, you're at a spa, we know that it says, okay, one of the things that can happen at the spa is a guest that we're going to call the Bull in the China Shop. And then it says a Bull in the China Shop has to be clumsy, erratic, or a slob. And that's how I figured that kind of thing out, which I know that's really complicated. And I had to do that for every single bullet point on all these lists. So another one here is loot action spa guests emotion setup. What does that mean? Well, if we click on it, it'll tell us that it mentions being stressed and uncomfortable or doing nothing, and that it can be found in all the other spa guests too. So all the spa guests get this action that sets up their emotions. If we open up the XML, I can check it. A loot action is a thing that a sim gets, basically. It's how sims get buffs, get whatever results of stuff they do, whatever. And they get a buff. They can get the uncomfortable buff, they can get a stressed buff, or they can get a do nothing buff. And these weights here being the chance that it can happen. I'm not going to explain weights right now. It's even confusing for people who know how to mod. But basically this one's most likely, this one's least likely. But what it's telling us here is that when Sims spawn as a spa guest, they will get this every single time, which means that every single guest who shows up to a spa is either going to be stressed, uncomfortable, or just a generic sim. So now we know the detail that when a sim shows up to the spa, they have a really high chance of being in a bad mood that they're going to try and solve by doing spa stuff. And if we go back to the zone director again, we can go to any of these other ones and see if they've got anything special. Jobs, spa guest, normal, you click on that. That's the same thing, filters for who it can be. It's got that same emotion set up, which is why when I clicked on it before, it listed the spa guest on the left. They don't have anything special. Let's go back to the zone director. If we go to the prankster one, you can go to the job, and we can see, where is it? Oh, I gotta look in it. I'm getting mixed up. It gets really confusing because you just have to go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. But if we click on the prankster one, okay, I'm getting myself confused. That's the problem. I was looking for a buff that determines how a sim behaves, which a lot of situation jobs have, but this one doesn't. What this one does instead is the filter. If we click it here, we can see statistics skill adult major is referenced in the filter. And it doesn't tell us why, but if we open it, we can find it. So if I find this and I search for mischief, there we go. We can find out why. What it means is these are the things that it's trying to make sure are true or false for the sim that is chosen. This means it has to be at least a teenage sim, and ideally they will have a level 10 in mischief, but they need to have at least a level 2 in mischief. So now we know that when you go to the spa, it might spawn a prankster, and what that means is that it might spawn a sim who is teen or older, who has a mischief skill between 2 and 10. And that was how I figured out like 4 details out of all these details. Ignore these tabs. I'm watching the Disney show The Weekenders. I had to look through all of these for every single one of these. And when it got to like stuff like this, like the University Commons stuff, this is crazy. It's nuts how much detail this game has. You guys have no idea how much detail this game has. I try really hard to make it clear to people how much this game has going on in it, but it's truly insane. If we open up one of the University Common venues, we can see here's the stuff that talks about the cafeteria station. So I know the cafeteria station works there, blah, 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 that kind of thing. But if we go over here, there's the 3 venue events. You click on that. It's got its own zone director. Every single one of these events has its own zone director. So every single zone director tells me which kinds of sims can be called for this. So we've got all these different kinds of professors. We've got all these different kinds of students. We've got generic visitors. And then every single one of these, you click on it, it's got its own job, which there's a filter that'll tell you which kind of sim can choose this job. It's got roles that tell you their autonomy modifiers, so we know that the slacker will get this autonomy modifier that tells them to slack, tells them to use computers. And you can find this stuff for every single one of these. You go to the mixer, it tells you that this kind of stuff can happen at the mixer. You go to the mixer student, you can find that the mixer student job has this filter. You can find that the mixer student job has these buffs. You can find that the mixer student job has a buff that tells them to do party stuff. I saw one that I missed just now, that there's also situations for mascots. So the mascots can show up at these events. The mascots have these jobs. The mascots have these buffs. The mascot has this party buff. If we open the party buff, we can see what it does. It makes Sims more likely to make drinks, makes them more likely to grab drinks, makes them more likely to do dance by themselves. This is for one event in one venue type from one expansion pack that you might get invited to if your sim has an organization that they're a part of. That is crazy. And there's four of these across both universities. There's four of these events across both universities. If your sim is in one university, they're only going to be able to see three, and they're only going to see them if they're in a club and if they then get a phone call inviting them to these events. There's so much freaking content in this game. It is unbelievable. And I just, there's so much. There's so much. Look at this. Look at this. Watch this. Bubble blow. This is all the tuning for the bubble blower from City Living. How many times have you used the bubble blower from City Living? Like 5? For like 7 total minutes. This is all the tuning for the bubble blower. Look at all these buffs that you can get from the bubble blower. There's successes and fails, 2 of each for every single color of bubble blower juice. Isn't that nuts? There's so freaking much in here, and I can click on any. Look at how much work this takes to make this one object. That is nuts. I'm going completely off the plot here. But look at this crap. Look how much shit there is in here. I can't believe how much there is in this game. Like, the critic career has so much stuff by itself. I'm finding so much stuff in all these files about the critic career. Like, critics have to do this and that and try this and go to here and do whatever. Like, I cannot believe how much stuff is in this game. And there's so much stuff that nobody even knows about. Like, there's obviously so much stuff that I don't know about, because as I'm writing these, I'm learning so many different things that I had no clue about. So many of these venues just do little things that I genuinely had no idea they did. But now that I know they did, I can watch out for them and see them and be like, holy crap, look at all this stuff the game is doing. What? Remove zonked? What the hell is zonked? What is it? What's a zonked? Energy knock, loot, commodity, motive, energy knockout, bubble blower. It was so relaxing, sim felt right asleep. String, zonked. Zonked is a buff that makes your sim fall asleep that you can get from the bubble blower. Now we know. I got way off track here, but I love the Sims. I love how much stuff is in here. I'm having a lot of fun looking through it, and I'm having a lot of fun making these posts, and I just thought it would be fun to show how the heck. But Ghost Haunt, oh yeah, there's one that's got like a giant, oh no, that's for ghosts possessing it. There's one of the bubbles makes a giant skull. I don't know, whatever. This is, whew, I'm having a moment. I'm done. I don't know how to end videos. Bye.